This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castabras.
Hey, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And this is episode 91.
91.
Hope you guys have had a smashing week. And that you've indulged in plenty of Who stuff that's been going on over the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, last few days have been quite good, haven't they? We've had a few good little bits coming out.
We have. Mainly merch. We're going to have a good merch corner this week.
Yeah.
Fairly light on like news stuff, like newsworthy bits and bobs, but some good merch has been released over the last week, which is good. How have you been, buddy?
Been really good. Yeah, been excellent, mate. Thank you. Had quite a busy little week last week. I was really packed in a lot. So yeah, a good, just another week of the usual of mixing with celebs and
of course
buying lots of merch. But no, I've had a really good couple of days last week. After our disappointing day when we couldn't get together the week before, I finally managed to get up to the Cartoon Museum.
Yes,
to see the Doctor exhibition, which is really good actually. I must admit it was smaller than I imagined because the exhibition itself, because I've been to the Cartoon Museum before when they did a Doctor Who thing, and it was all on the bottom floor, so I was expecting it to be the same. So I was quite surprised when I walked in and saw all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, where's the Doctor Who bit? I was thinking it'd gone already, and it was just upstairs, wasn't it? Kind of in the little room upstairs. But so still very cool. Still really enjoyed it, but yeah, it's a little bit smaller than I thought. There was one other Who fan in there sort of milling around looking at it, and I thought I'd be clever and tell him about the Vengeance on Varos cover where the Doctor's got like a strange face. The drawing is a bit odd, and they've got the original picture on the wall where he's got the rope round his neck.
Yep. So
I thought, but they'd got the book sort of in a glass cabinet in front of it, so I thought I'd be really clever and tell this Doctor Who fan a bit of my knowledge. So, oh yeah, they had to remove the rope, and he's like, yeah, I know. So I quickly moved on, but yeah, that was good. And then I went and shot down to a theatre, which name escapes me, and met Pearl Mackie, or Bill, whatever you want to call her, which was really good. A friend of mine who listens to the show, hello Paul, it tipped me off that she was doing the matinee that day, so she'd be out around 5. So I got there just before 5, and sure enough, I was only there a couple of minutes, and out she came. She was really good. She was really nice, actually. She was very rushed, I suppose, because she was in between 2 shows. So you could see she sort of, needed to get away. But she was really nice and happy to pose for lots of pictures. There was a handful of us there, and she signed some pictures as well. Oh, wow. So that was really nice. Really good to meet her. And then just to finish off the day, I nipped up to Forbidden Planet and got Andrew Cartmel to sign his new book, The Vinyl Detective, which I'm 1 chapter into and loving already. I knew I was going to love this book. I loved it from the minute he talked about it. So that was really good. So I've had a really cool couple of little days up in London. Yeah, since we last spoke.
There's a reason for everything, mate, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah.
That's the silver lining, isn't it? Because the trains that packed up last week or the week before, which meant that you couldn't come up with me on the Friday, was it?
It's on the Friday. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that, because if you'd have came up on the Friday, you wouldn't have met Pearl Mackie, that wouldn't have happened, would it? So
I know this is true, but I would have met you, and we would have been drunk in a pub garden, so it still would have been good.
Well, of course, it wouldn't have been as good as meeting up with me, but
no, obviously not. But we will do that. We will still do that anyway, so we can still do it. But no, that was a really good day, and it was nice to meet Pearl. I told her how much we loved the intro clip. No, I didn't mention it. But no, she seems really cool. I got a good vibe about her.
Good vibe.
So, a good vibe. Yeah.
David Brent, you've charmed me. You've got the job.
Yeah.
I've got a good vibe.
I'll tell you what I was pleased about, though, because I just got a little it's secondhand, but I just bought myself a proper camera because you know the
Okay.
iPhone camera. You know, if anybody slightly moves, you get that blurred picture, and it's sometimes a bit rubbish.
Yeah,
So I thought, right, I'm going to take a real camera with me and get a really good picture this time. And so I took that, and I got a couple of pictures of Pearl on this camera, but I just wanted to post one on Facebook straight away, you know, like you did. Oh, look who I've just met, blah, blah, blah. So I said, can I get a quick one on my phone? And she was like, sure. So I took one on my phone, which actually turned out to be the only decent picture that I got of her, because when I got back and transferred the photos from the camera, which looked fine on the little screen, they were terrible. They were all blurred and awful. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm so glad that I quickly got that selfie on my phone, because it turned out to be the best picture of the lot. So yeah, so I've already thrown away the new camera.
Already bin that one. See you later.
Yeah, bin that new camera. Yeah. So there you go, blimmin' Sony CyberShot rubbish from 1995 or whatever it is.
Blimmin' thing.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's good. Yeah, good couple of days. Very pleased. And like
nice
you said, some nice little bits of merch have dropped through the door, which we'll talk about later. Got something yesterday which we'll talk about with a certain doctor from a certain audio company.
Yep.
Arrived yesterday. Very lucky. It was absolutely pouring with rain yesterday, and I'd seen pictures of people that had got it on Twitter, and I thought, oh no, I hope my copy isn't like out in the rain. And the postman, to be fair, had put it under the table, but it was still the box was soaked, and I thought, oh no, but luckily it's in a wrapping, so the actual
That's right.
set itself, but when I saw it soaked under the table, I was a bit worried. So yeah, very good. But how have you been? Have you had any little deliveries or been anywhere very exciting? I know one place you've been.
Yes, I've been very well, thank you. I haven't really done a great deal in terms of who I've watched. A couple of bits. It was the 20th anniversary of the TV movie on Saturday.
Yes, yeah.
So I stuck that on Saturday evening. And that was a great watch. That grows on me the more and more I watch that.
I agree. I really love it.
Yeah.
I love the TV movie. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I notice little things every time I watch it, especially around the TARDIS interior.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
all that stuff. You know, it's yeah. So I'm a real big fan of the TV movie now. And I noticed that you ordered the book. Did you have it delivered already, or have you just ordered it yet? You know, Yi-Ji So's.
Time and Spaces.
Yes.
But yes, yeah, it arrived on Monday, I think. Arrived this week anyway. It's a really nice little book.
Yeah.
Really nice little book. It just sort of, he just basically talks about his memories of that time, and he found some old photos that he took on set. So there's a couple of set pictures and things that you probably haven't seen before. And he just sort of basically revisits some of the locations used. Because he still lives really close to where they filmed it. So he's sort of gone back and taken a few pictures, and not much has changed, to be honest. It's all pretty much the same. But it's more the fact that his sort of memories of it, if you like, are more interesting. Because when I heard about this book, I thought it was going to be like now and then pictures of all the locations.
Okay. Yeah.
Which it kind of is, but not as much as I thought. It's more actually like a little memoir. And it's quite a short little book. So I read it in one night, which is pretty good going for me. I'm a really slow reader. So yeah, it's a really nice little pickup, that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Mine's not delivered yet, so I'm awaiting.
Oh, right. Did you order it from Milk?
From Milk? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Because I
Direct.
had a little Facebook conversation with them. Those guys, they're so cool at Milk.
They are. Yeah.
I messaged them and I said, love the book. Thanks for the fast delivery. I said, normally you put little extras in, like, you know, whenever I've ordered from you before, you get like little stickers or like print off of BBC letters and stuff. And I said, I was just a little bit surprised there wasn't anything with this one. I just wondered, was there a reason, or was it, you know, they were just like, so we ended up having this conversation. Basically, there wasn't supposed to be. They said they basically couldn't think of anything to do for it. And also there was a few sort of copyright things, I think, to do with the TV movie. You have to be a bit careful. It's a bit like Big Finish can't get the rights to the characters and stuff.
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, but they were sort of, so then we got into conversation about what they could have done, and they were sort of saying, well, maybe they could have done a you know, like the tag toe that the doctor has on his foot when he's in the morgue or something like that. And what was the other thing we thought of? I can't remember now. But yeah, we were just trying to think of little things that, that they could have included. But they're a great company. I love Milk.
Yeah, they're good guys over there.
Yeah.
Really cool. That reminds me, now you've said that, I contacted our competition winner. We announced the winner of our book, The Seventh Doctor giveaway that we did a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I can't pronounce the name of the book, but I know the one. Yeah.
So if the guy that we announced as the winner, I think it's Bob somebody. I will find the name.
SpongeBob. No, I can't remember.
No. So basically, I'm just waiting on you to reply back to me with your address, and I will have I'll have this book straight out to you. So if you're listening, do give me a message back. I contacted you on Facebook. I'm sure the gentleman's name was Bob.
Bob rings a bell.
Bob Clark.
Yeah.
Yes, Bob Clark. So if you're listening, Bob, congratulations on winning the book. I just need you to tell me where to send it.
Yeah.
So get in touch and we'll get it out to you. So yes, not done too much else. I went over to the Who Shop on Sunday.
I loved your tweet.
I
loved your tweet about dicing with death, having a phone out in that shop.
Yes, and something quite remarkable happened, and I'm not sure if I should speak about it on the show. Because
we're all friends here.
I'll tell you why. Because as people know, we're not in the habit of bad mouthing people or spewing negativity when it's unjust or anything like that. We'll only speak about it if it's quite an outstanding example of something. We'll have a little bit of a rant and so on. But I don't know. But in a nutshell, what happened was went into the Who Shop and it was packed.
Was it?
It literally, I've never seen it this busy before. It was absolutely heaving. And the lady who manages the shop was obviously there. And the last time that I was in there before, that was the incident with the whole selfie thing.
Yeah.
So the last time I was in the shop, I was over right in the corner by where the T-shirts are, in the corner. And I was, people who don't know this story, I was going to take a quick selfie, and that was it. And she came rushing over. She was like, no. No pictures, no smartphones, all that stuff. This weekend, just gone. The place was heaving, packed. There's a woman in there with her 2 kids. And the first thing that they did, before you've got the big Dalek replica by the door as you go in.
I do, yeah.
Yep. So the very first thing that they did, before they even looked around the shop, was get their phones out to take a picture, a selfie.
Yeah.
The lady manager, who
was inside the Dalek, I could just imagine her lifting the lid off. Exterminate!
No, what happened was the lady manager who was there came running over to them and said, I'll take the picture for you.
I hope you got in the background of it.
She was like, no, I'll take the photo with you so you can all be in the photo. And bearing in mind the irony of the situation is that not only did she absolutely give me a good telling off when the shop was empty the week before for taking a selfie in the corner with just a T-shirt, that there's a sign pinned to the Dalek that says no photos.
Oh, I love it. It gets crazier every week.
So it was, my ghast was well and truly flabbered.
I bet.
Literally for about 5 minutes, I stood there just stunned, just staring into the abyss. And my wife was like, what's the matter? Because when my wife went off there, she's like looking at other stuff and she didn't know about this. And she was like, what's wrong? What's the matter? And I'm like, I can't quite believe what I've just seen. It's quite incredible. So I really don't know what to think about the whole thing. Maybe I've just got one of those faces where I just get told off easily.
No, because I've been told, maybe we've both got that fake, because I've been told off as well. Put that camera away. That is so funny though, especially the fact that Dalek had the thing on it saying no photos.
Yeah, it's the same with the big replica TARDIS they've got.
Yeah.
It's got the similar sign on it to say no photos without permission and all that stuff. And I just thought it was incredible. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Do you think it's because they were kids or whatever? Because, I mean, I thought that story was going to go 2 ways. I thought she's either going to come over and take a photo, or she's going to come over and say, no, put that phone away, and we're going to have kids running out the shop in tears.
Oh, okay.
So, in a way, I'm kind of glad that it was the first one. But also kind of feel bemused. What's going on there. Yeah, it's a very strange policy they got going on.
Yeah.
I just would have loved it if you'd have gone over to her and said, can you take my photo? Just what would she have said?
Yeah, I mean,
no.
and she must have recognized me as well, because I was in there literally the week before. and I've been in there maybe 3 or 4 times this year already.
Yeah.
Anyway, that all put aside, I'm not one to hold grudges or go, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, whatever. So I picked up a few bits anyway.
What did you? I was just going to ask you. What did you buy?
I picked up the Beast of Fang Rock. The next novel on from
Lethbridge Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got them as ebooks, but I wanted to start getting the actual physical books, and I found a signed one as well.
Oh, right.
Which is very cool. So I bagged that. I also got my little Ood.
Oh, yes, yeah, little Ood figure.
Character. He's now
Funny
sitting
pic.
on my external hard drive guarding, singing me home at the end of the workday when I'm... the universe will sing you home. That's a good. And also picked up, I think I got a T-shirt. It's the... a really cool T-shirt, actually. It's the really old Fourth Doctor Tom Baker cartoon style. Years and years ago when Marvel Comics did a run for Doctor Who. It's one of the covers from that.
I think I can, I can picture it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And another couple of bits, I can't remember some other little bits. But yeah, it was okay. It was really good to see the shop really busy. That was good. Had some cosplays in there as well, actually. There was a guy dressed as a 10th Doctor, there was a 4th Doctor, and I think a 3rd Doctor as well. So that was quite good. So there was a buzz going on there. It was very good. It was good to be around all of that.
I must admit, I love going to that shop. I haven't been for ages because it's just that little bit out of it. Whenever I'm in London, it's not like it's just a couple of tube stops from central London. It's just that little bit too far out of it. But I'll have to. It'd be great to go there with you one day. Just say, can we get a picture in front of that Dalek, please? See what she says.
I'm still loving the whole idea that you had where we'll turn up with loads of camera equipment and lighting and everything.
An old-fashioned one with a great big flash. I just my memories of it, and as I said, it is a while since I last went there. But I used to live when I lived in London, central London. I used to be so much closer to it, and I used to just love nipping in because it is just it's vast, and all the merchant they've got in there is incredible. And I love the little museum. They've probably got a few more new bits in since I went as well, because she's always buying stuff for that museum, isn't she? So yeah, but we'll get up there at some point. I know you must be closer to it because you've been in a few times already this year.
Well, we just every now and then, just the weekend, we're like, let's just drive into London and we'll have a look about. So, but yes, and they gave. Oh, actually, I've just remembered something. She might have remembered me because when I was paying for my stuff at the till, she did say to me, because you've been good, here's a free comic.
Oh yes, I knew there was something you'd got I really wanted. Yeah.
So the weekend before it was free comic. The Wednesday before it was free comic book day, and they had a stack of them there. Yeah. And she was like, because you've been good, you can have a free comic. So I'm not sure if that's a reference to me not taking any photos on that particular visit, or if she was just being nice. I don't know, but
that's the good thing to have though, because I was hoping they'd have some of those kicking around in Forbidden Planet when I was there the weekend after, but they didn't. Yes. I did see your picture of it and think, oh, you nabbed one. Yeah, that's good though. That's a good little thing to get.
It's cool.
I'll tell you what I do regret not buying while I was up in London. I didn't pick up the Target book. The new hardback which you bought.
Yes.
I might have to nip back to that cartoon museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because the day had got quite expensive by that point, and it's about 25 quid in it, and I was just thinking, oh, do I, don't I? But yeah, I do regret not picking that up, because have you had a good flick through it now?
Yeah, I've had a decent read of it. Yeah,
it's brilliant, isn't it?
Really good. Yeah. Other than that, not much else for me. The only thing, I've nearly finished Andrew Cartmell's book, The Script Doctor. I'm on the last chapter now.
Oh yeah,
and I've got to say, mate, it's been an amazing book to read.
It's brilliant. As Doctor Who books go, it's one of my favourite. I think because well, I love that time of the show, and I know you've grown to love it as well. It's a great book, isn't it? Really good insight into what was going on behind the scenes. Absolutely.
Literally every page has got a really good little insight or snippet about something to do with the production of the show. It's just never ending. It feels like a never ending, like page by page list of little bits of trivia and facts and things that you might not have known about Sylve and what went on behind the scenes. It's just an incredible book. So, this is one of those absolute recommendations. If you've not read The Script Doctor, if you're in a classic Who, especially Sylve and that era, this is a must read.
Yeah. Where did you get yours? Because Andrew was saying this is the second print, but I think you said it's already out of print, but you can still pick it up and you can get it direct from him, I think. But did you manage to get yours in Forbidden Planet, didn't you?
Yeah, there was 2 copies.
Yeah.
Of Forbidden Planet, and I think it was 14 quid.
No.
Yeah. So, and it's a decent sized book as well. It's fairly chunky and.
Well, the new
great.
one's got more stuff in it. Yeah, he's put more extra bits in it.
Yeah, there's extra there's another photo section. It's got a decent forward by Stephen Moffat as well, which is quite nice. But it's a great book, really good.
Were you laughing at the bits? Because I love how candid and honesty is about certain people. Were you laughing about the when he's on about Pip and Jane Baker and
Right, yeah.
going out for a meal with them, and because knowing what they were like as well, I found that so funny.
Yes, the awkwardness between the three of them. Yeah,
we'll give you a lift. It's just brilliant. Yeah, I can't echo what you've just said enough. I love that book.
Yeah.
So yeah, some good pickups there.
Indeed. Enough from us. Shall we see what's been going on in the world, Doctor Who? Shall we land the TARDIS and do the news?
I think we should.
Cool. First up, we've spoken about this a lot over the last couple of weeks, and you're probably bored of us talking about it now, but the Target exhibition at the Cartoon Museum was due to finish, I think it was Thursday last week, or Friday last week, one of those.
Yeah.
But good news, it's been extended. So it's now going on until Sunday the 5th of June, so it's on for at least another, 2 weeks?
At least, is it? Yeah, bank holiday. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so for another couple of weeks, it's open. So if you can get yourself into London, and the thing that I found, you'll probably agree, is that it's in a really good location in London because you can jump off the tube at Tottenham Court Road. It's about a 5-minute walk, or just over, from Tottenham Court Road, and then you're literally 5 minutes away from Forbidden Planet.
Yep.
So you can literally spend an afternoon of really hooing it up. So you can go and check out the and like I said last week, it's small, but it's really, really good. So they've got like a dozen examples of the Target artwork, but there is absolutely something amazing about seeing it because some of them are quite large as well. It's like A3 size. So it's one thing seeing it quite small on a book cover, which has been. And you can tell on the book covers as well that they've had to reduce like the colour consistency. So the fidelity of the print isn't as good as the original artwork because it's a much simpler print and quite small. But when you see the artwork quite large in front of you and you can see like the original sketch and brushstrokes and stuff, it's really, really just amazing to see.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I loved it. Like you said, it's I'm really pleased they've extended it. I was quite surprised that they were only doing it for such a short time when they announced it. So it's great that it's been extended. I reckon, like you said, I love the fact you can literally come out of there. They've got quite a nice little shop as well, haven't they? They've got some prints, and I really wanted to buy the print of the Varos cover just because the one you can buy is the original where he's got the rope, but I think they're about 30 quid. But it's a really nice, there's some really nice little bits in there which are sort of exclusive like that, and they've got the new book and stuff. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you can get along to it, we both recommend it. It's quite a small little place, but it's really, really nice to see these covers up close. Yeah,
it's a good little shop, like you say as well. I was surprised at how much stuff they had in there. I mean, there's probably more stuff in the shop than there is in the museum.
There probably is, actually. Yeah. They've got some Target books as well, haven't they? I mean, they look new. They're presumably reissues from, I don't know when they would have been brought out, but they've got some of the actual Target books in there as well, which are not always easy to find. I suppose you can pick them up on certain sites, but yeah, it's nice to be able to go in the shop and actually get some of the older books as well.
And they're giving away free postcards as well. I don't know if you saw that. They're giving away free postcards of the Target covers. I picked up 6 or 7 of them.
No, I didn't see that.
They're just on the counter. I said, how much are the postcards? Oh, they're free. So I just bagged the lot.
Oh right. Well, no, she she had a load of crap all over the counter when I went in.
Right.
She was pricing stuff So the counter was covered. So they were probably all underneath all the rubbish.
Oh.
I didn't see that. Well, I'm going to have to go back to pick up the book. So I'll nip in and just say, oh, how much are the postcards?
How much?
And she'll be like, and each. What? Yeah, I didn't see those.
Yes, so fans interested in Doctor Who artwork, regardless of if it's Target or not, go and check it out. Get to London, check it out. It's only there for another 2 weeks.
There's nothing on the news page about it, and I'm hoping I didn't dream this, but I'm sure I saw on Twitter that one of the artists is doing an appearance there before it shuts. And I can't remember who, and I can't remember when, which is why I'm questioning if I've imagined it, but I'm sure I saw somewhere that it's not Chris, whose name I always get wrong. It's not Chris Achilleos or Kilio. It's somebody else. It might be Alistair Pearson or someone like that. I'm sure I saw that on Twitter this week, that he was going to be there one night. So it might be worth just doing a little Google search for that.
Yeah.
And if you can't find it, sorry, it's probably just one of my many Doctor Who dreams that's blurred into reality. But no, I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere.
Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Added bonus.
Yeah.
So we're fairly light on news. That's all that's been happening really in the world of Doctor Who. Nothing to report on new TV series stuff, no Capaldi stuff.
Have they? I don't think they've started filming yet, have they?
No, I think that's in just under 2 weeks' time.
Right, yeah, because I was wondering how much longer Pearl's in the play for. Because I
Yeah.
was thinking she obviously isn't filming yet, because she's in that every day, I presume, or every night. So, but they must start filming fairly soon, I think.
Yeah, I think it's next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might have a bit more stuff to report on once filming kicks off. But otherwise, fairly light. But we have got some cool merch.
Yes.
Let's get the Daleks in and do it.
Okay.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
You're a fan of the sonic screwdriver?
I can't get enough of the sonic screwdrivers. I think I've got pretty much every blimmin' variation that character brought out. I must admit, I do love a Sonic. Yeah,
We love a good Sonic around the TARDIS. And the 12th Doctor's brand new Sonic has just been released.
Yes, it has.
And I think you've got one, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Of course you have.
One thing that surprised me about this was because there was this thing about character doing an announcement, wasn't there, last week?
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people thought it was going to be figures. So there was two surprises for me with this announcement. The first one was that it was the Sonic that they were announcing rather than figures. So I thought, wow, that's good. Because we kind of knew that they're going to be doing one, but we, wasn't expecting it to be announced so soon. And the second surprise was that they weren't just saying, oh, this is coming out, in so many months' time, this is what's going to... It was that it was going to be out now. So they were like, Toys R Us, you can order it for Toys R Us now. And I was like, whoa. So I love the fact that they seem to be a bit more organised, because no offence to character, I love their stuff. As you know, I buy all the figures and everything. But yeah, it seems that they've sort of got their act together big time on this one, because... Yep. To get it, to do an announcement, but then to be able to go out and get it if you're lucky enough to find stock of it, I thought was great. So yeah, I saw it was announced. I phoned up good old Dad and said, "Does my sister's got a little kid?" I said, do you need to go to Toys R Us for anything?" He's like, "No, we went on Tuesday." I was like, "Oh." He's like, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "Oh, there's something I want to get." He's like, "Is it Doctor Who?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, God, then." So my dad, bless him, whisked me up to my local Toys R Us, and they would reserve one for me for an hour, which was a little bit tight to where I live, but we just got there, and they'd got like one on the shelf and one reserved. So so I'm very pleased to pick this up. I know a lot of people think this Sonic looks busy, and I was one of them, but I got to say, this is one of those things that looks so much better in hand. Like when you look at photos of it, it looks big, clumsy, maybe a bit messy. But the actual thing, personally, I really like it. I love it.
It's definitely torn, isn't it? I think a lot of people are torn on it. It's a lot of
it's
people,
unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual, but that's not a bad thing. Because a lot of the Sonics, I think this is an extension of Matt Smith's Sonic, because his one was the first where it had like these kind of metal claws that came out at the top, and it was a bit more out there. So I think this is an extension of that. It takes that a little bit further, where you have got those metal sort of rods down the side near the bottom, and you've got the little clips that come out on the side and look like they're holding the top part together and stuff. So the design is a bit more out there, absolutely. And
I wonder if we're going to see the clips, those clamps, because they do look like they should do something. Like they almost look, like you said, like they're holding that top. I wonder if in the show that's going to be used. Like, I don't know, maybe he's going to take the top off or something. I get the feeling there's more to those clamps. Yeah.
One thing that sold it for me.
Yeah.
Green and blue lights. Come on.
Come on.
What about sound effects?
Well, sound effects are good because when I first pushed the button, it come out with a standard sonic noise, and I was like, "Oh no, disappointment." Then I pushed it down, you got a sort of secondary standard sonic, and I was like, "Okay." But like you said, green and blue light. But then there's sort of two other sound effects you can make, and they're really good. They're new, and that's what I was waiting for. I thought surely new sonic, new sound effect. So yeah, it's got sort of two new sound effects that we haven't heard before, and they kind of make the light flash rather than just come on.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, just talk about the toy itself though, because obviously you can get the proper replica from Rubbertoe, which is sort of 750 quid, which I'm sure is absolutely beautiful. But hats off to Character, they have done a brilliant job with this. For a toy that costs between $14 and $16.99, I've got to tell you, they've done a really, really good job with it. In terms of how it looks compared to the actual prop.
Yeah.
For a toy, it's really good.
You wouldn't say the price difference between 15 quid and 750 quid.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would love the actual metal proper. Don't get me wrong. I would love it. But for a toy that costs you sort of around about 15 quid, they've just done a really, really good job making it look quite screen accurate. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't, because I wasn't sure how they were gonna, because it's such a complicated design. I was thinking, are they gonna get this right? But they've really done a good job, mate. It looks great compared to the actual thing.
Oh wow!
Are you tempted with it? Are you not so much a fan of this? I'm not sure.
No, I am tempted by it. I think I will get because, like you've just said, I think even though it's just a toy, and let's be honest, it is just a toy. Mm-hmm. Even though probably a large portion of Doctor Who fans will see it as a collectible, which is the same thing. Which is fair enough. As a toy, I think it looks amazing for the price, and and the detail, and how they've constructed it. I think it's great. So I'll be picking this one up.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can imagine us at the next convention having this in hand. We'll have to update our profile pictures, won't we?
Yeah, and interestingly, on Rubbertoe's, I think it was their Instagram or their Twitter feed, there was actually a red version that didn't make the cut.
Oh, I saw that.
Where all the lights inside were red. So that might have been, maybe that would be a special edition at some point. Would be £1,000 or something. But but that would be cool because it looked pretty good in the red.
I was thinking as well. Why not include it? Like, what's the problem having one extra colour in there?
It's got to be canon, mate. It's got to be. You can't have kids running around with red lighted sonic screwdrivers. Like, no. So that's all good. 12th Doctor. So you got this from Toys R Us, right? So
I got it from Toys R Us, yep.
I'm assuming you can get it from other places, or is it exclusive to Toys R Us?
At the moment, they've got the stock of it. So for now, you can only get it from Toys R Us, right. And they are going in and out of stock of it constantly. So it's just a case of just keep checking the website. But it's also up for pre-order on Amazon and Forbidden Planet. They've got it on their sites, but it's not available from them till June. I forget now, somewhere around June. So it looks like at the minute Toys R Us have got the monopoly on it for a couple of weeks, and then I think after that the majority of the stock will be dished out to all the other sort of retailers. But so that's good. So at least it'll be available from everywhere before long. I think people are selling it for quite a lot on eBay at the minute, but if you can just hold out a couple of weeks, I think it'll be fairly easy to get after that. It's only this initial period, isn't it?
Indeed. Cool.
So yeah, right. In other merch, what have we got? We got a couple of other bits this week, haven't we? So Big Finish. This is what I was talking about earlier, being left under my table yesterday.
This is a big one, isn't it?
This is the big one. The new 10th Doctor Adventures with Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, and of course the magnificent David Tennant as the 10th Doctor has finally been released in its nice limited edition packaging. You can also buy them as 3 separate audios if you wish. Now, which of these did you order, Gary?
I ordered the special edition. So
And has it arrived?
It has arrived.
And have you opened it?
No.
Nor have I, but not for the reasons that I normally don't open stuff. It's literally because I want to take some photos for the Geeks handbag, and I just didn't. I was so tired of that when I got in yesterday, and it was dark because it was gone 6 o'clock. So I thought I'll do it tomorrow. So I've left it sealed so that I can take some nice pictures of it before I open it and stuff. But yeah, I will be opening it.
I will open it. Yeah, the only reason why I haven't is because I started listening to it early on the release day. So
right.
I logged into my account, grabbed the download, and started listening to it straight away, which I'm glad I did, because I jumped on relatively early in the morning, soon after I woke up, and downloaded it with no problems. But literally a couple of hours later, they were having real problems with their servers because I think just thousands of people logged on to try and download it, and they were getting stuck, and downloads were not even starting. So
it was a nightmare. I was one of those people because I saw your tweet saying that you were listening to it, or you'd listen to it, and so yeah, I thought I've got a nice afternoon free later on when I get back. So it probably would have been about 3 o'clock. I started to try and download it because it was a really nice sunny day. I thought I can sit in the garden, listen to it, and I just couldn't even get on the website. It was totally down. So yeah, I eventually did manage to download it, but not till much later on in the evening.
Okay.
So I've only listened to Technophobia, the first story so far, but I've got the other two to listen to.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but
yep.
So this afternoon I'll open it up and have a good old look at it.
Oh, cool, yeah. I've listened to the whole thing. I listened to it like in one sitting, if you like. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if we should speak about it. The reason why is because we're thinking of doing a review, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So probably week after next, we're thinking of doing a bit of a Big Finish week and reviewing this, because in the past you guys have said, why don't you do some Big Finish reviews and so on. So I think maybe just as a sort of last confirmation, if you guys want us to do some Big Finish reviews and start with this one, then just let us know. Just send us a tweet or a Facebook message or whatever. And if it's something you want us to do, I mean, we'll take your lead on it, really. We're not going to start doing Big Finish if you're not really that bothered. You know, you're not really into it. So if you want us to do Big Finish, let us know, and we'll start off with this one, the new 10th Doctor Adventures.
Yeah.
So we're not going to speak about it too much now, in case we end up doing this review week after next. But the only one thing I will say about it is that when I heard the 10th Doctor's theme kick in, I was literally grinning like a stupid idiot for like 5 minutes, and I got goosebumps all down my arms and stuff. It was absolutely just such an amazing feeling to know that David Tennant and 10th Doctor and Donna are back doing an adventure. And like I tweeted out, it's like they were never gone. Because you get the setup of, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but the initial setup of the story. So this first little track one, if you like, which is only a minute or so long, which it is not got any audio from the Doctor and Donna at the beginning. It's not until at the end when they sort of come in, and then that's when the theme starts. Literally, after 5 seconds of David Tennant and Catherine Tate doing their thing, it's like they were never gone. It's like, click your fingers, they're back in the TARDIS, going on an adventure. It's just, I'm not going to comment on the story or anything like that, but just that initial feeling right at the beginning of hearing his theme and then going into that, it's a mind-blowing fit. It was amazing. I loved it.
I've got to echo that. The theme, because I was listening on headphones as well, and I was thinking as well, is it the original? They beefed it up. It sounded brilliant. Yeah. And I know what you mean. It's great that that'll be Big Finish on the phone.
Yep. Sorry, Nick. We're not talking about it too much.
Just do that. One of those nuisance calls. No, I just got to echo what you said about the theme, because it's great that we've got to the point now where sort of new Doctor Who started to go into that sort of nostalgic feel along with the classic series. So, because David Tennant was the Doctor how many years ago now?
Oh,
What was
12?
it, 2007, something like that? So
No,
it's
sorry.
nice that we're so many years ahead that we can actually get that same nostalgic feeling from his theme as you sort of would get maybe from, Peter Davison's theme or the very first Doctor's theme. It's just brilliant to get that sort of shiver down your spine of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And like you said, I totally echo about that. Just the pair of them together at that beginning, and then the theme kicking in was just, you're like, oh yes, here
Yeah,
we go.
It's amazing.
That theme is brilliant, though. Why did they? It makes the new one pale into comparison, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Which is why I'm in two minds about possibly going back, because I used a cover version of it for the podcast, and every time I listen to it, it's just, I don't know. So we might go back to that. I'm not sure, but yes, it wasn't 12 years ago that he did the role, wasn't it? Why did I say 12? It wasn't that long ago.
No,
Probably what?
you're probably thinking
7, no, not even that. I don't know, 5-6 years ago,
Yeah.
somewhere around that ballpark. But it's like they never left. It's amazing. And yeah, so if you want us to review it, if that's something that you want us to do, let us know. One thing that's quite cool, because most times when you order something Big Finish and you get it physically delivered, you get a copy of Vortex magazine with it, which is like I think it's monthly, like a monthly roundup of what's going on at Big Finish and stuff. One thing that they have got in here, which is really good, which a lot of people ask us actually quite frequently, is where to start with Big Finish.
Right,
If you've not listened to it before. And they've got this cool article that says Big Finish's Big Start. We recommend 21 releases for Doctor Who newcomers to audio. And they give a rundown of each Doctor and a really good starting point for Big Finish audio. So I might just type these out and put it on Facebook if you haven't got the Vortex magazine. But it goes through some really good ones. So for every Doctor. So that's really good. Really,
that is
really
good.
useful.
A lot of people ask that, don't they? We get that quite a lot
All
because
the
we talk
time,
about Big
yeah.
Finish. Yeah, where should I start? What should I do? Because their output is so immense. It's really difficult. I always struggle to answer that question because especially with anything like a story you think's really good, someone else might not be a good one for them to start with. So it's great that they've finally done that because I'd have thought they'd have done that ages ago, to be honest. But it seems like Big Finish, I think because of their new series license, it seems like they're getting their act together properly now, doesn't it? Like, with the app, they've just improved the app big time
it's
on
pretty good.
iTunes. So the app has been all updated and they're really proud of it. And I have to say it's a lot easier to use. The website is getting an overhaul soon, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
So we're looking forward to seeing what that's like. And they're doing things like this, which, people have been asking for ages. So I think with the new series stuff kicking in that they've got, they're getting it together.
Yeah.
If only they would bring back the forum, though. Did you get into that, or was that a little bit just after your?
No. I was. I checked out the forum for a bit before they took it down, and
It was great, the Big Finish forum. I don't know why they got rid of it. I know they used to get the odd bit of stick, but it wasn't like some .2 sites where it was just all negativity and useless. It wasn't like that. I mean, there was the odd bit, but it was generally a really good forum for chatting about the releases and stuff. And I'm still gutted that they got rid of that.
maybe they'll bring it back as part of the new site design and stuff.
I'd like to think so. I don't think they will. I think I think maybe it was just taking up too much time to moderate, maybe. But I would love to see that come back. Yeah. I missed the Big Finish forum.
Yes. So that's the 10th Doctor's Adventures, and it's a 3-parter. The first story is called Technophobia, followed by Time Reaver, and then Death and the Queen. So it's quite unusual to have a 3-parter. Normally it's a single story or a box set of 4 stories.
Yeah.
So it's quite unique. It's pretty good. It's a really good time span as well. Having 3 stories is just long enough so you can have a decent, well thought out mapped story, but it's not too long that by the end of the 4th part you're like, well, that's that took a while to get through. So it's a good time as well. So that's out right now. You've probably seen it splashed around Doctor Who magazine adverts for a few months now, getting pre-orders in and stuff, but it's out right now, MP3 or order the CD, whatever. And the box set's really nice as well. If you get the special edition box set. And the artwork, the cover art is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
This whole purple sort of vortex thing going on, it absolutely suits the 10th Doctor. They've got this spot on. So it's a great release. And if you're into the 10th Doctor, it's worth getting. For sure. So that's the 10th Doctor Adventures on Big Finish. Lastly, in Merch Corner, we have some 3rd Doctor news. So the Titan comics, which we've been following since they launched, have started to branch out into the classic era a lot more now. So a couple of months ago, we said, great news, the 4th Doctor comic is going to be released, and that was really good, and it's a very, very good story. Now we're going to have a 5-parter for the 3rd Doctor, which is even more great news, because any time where you take one of the Doctors from the classic years and you start to expand on the story, and you keep that Doctor's alive, the spirit and the adventure of that particular Doctor, if it's done well, like Big Finish do, and to be fair, the Titan comics have done that very well. This is only a good thing, and it's going to be written by Paul Cornell, who's no stranger to writing comics, really good writer. And the particular companions in this story is going to be Joe and the Brigadier.
Yes.
So it's going to be a cracking story, I believe. It's a 5-parter. I think it's out in August. 1 second. I think it's August, July or August, one of the two. And
they'll probably go back anyway. They very often do with the release dates, don't they?
Yeah. And it's going to have the usual raft of variant covers.
They are so nice, though. I'm looking at them now.
These
Doesn't the 3rd Doctor suit comic? The covers are brilliant on these. The ones that they've released already, I think they look fantastic, actually. The variants, yeah.
There's one particular cover which just looks amazing. I think it's going to be the default cover if you don't go for any of the other variants. And it's the Doctor holding up his Sonic, and he's got the TARDIS in the background, and he's got his red wings of his cape out to the side, and just the expression on his face. So this is cover A I'm talking about. It's by Josh Burns. He's the cover artist. And the likeness of John Pertwee and the expression on his face is amazing. It's
stunning.
Great cover. And then we've got some of the other variants. So I think cover B is an actual photograph of John Pertwee.
It's got his other companions in the background as well, which is interesting, because you can see Sarah Jane and Joe Grant and who's the other one that's there? There's a Sea Devil.
Sea Devil and an Ice Warrior.
Oh, was there an Ice Warrior as well? I can't quite see from where I am. Yeah.
Yep.
The Brig, yeah.
The Brig and your good friend.
John Levine.
John Levine, sorry. Yep. So, I think it's going to be really good. And it is out the end of August.
End of August.
So it's a few months away. But this is an absolute pickup if you're into the Titan comics. If you like the 4th Doctor one, especially, if you like their sort of first dipping their toe in the water with the classic years, this will be a great one to get. So, yes, 3rd Doctor Adventures in Titan comics.
Yeah, nice to see another Doctor joining their line. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. That's going to do for news and merch. Right, Adam, my good fellow.
Hello there,
Adam, old boy. What are we reviewing this week?
Our review this week is no mystery. It's the greatest show in the galaxy.
Yes, it's festival time at the Psychic Circus, the greatest show in the galaxy. So why not come along and have the time of your life with the non-stop action of its glittering circus ring? There's big prizes too.
No, don't believe it. Junk mail. We used to get mounds of this stuff through the letterbox, and now you're being bombarded with it inside the TARDIS.
Yeah, it's junk mail everywhere.
Or whether you want to compete, there's a great time for you on the planet Seganax. The planet has easy access via our special polyportable landing base.
Nice! I thought you'd been interested in the circus.
No, kid stuff. I went once. Didn't even have any tigers. It was naff and it was boring. Apart from the clowns, of course.
What, you found them funny?
No. Creepy.
Right. The greatest show in the galaxy. I'm probably going to do that a lot because he does it a lot.
I hope so, yeah. And it used to drive you mad. Does it still irritate you as much, or do you kind of like it now?
No, I kind of like it now. This is probably, before we get into this review, this has probably been my biggest kind of turnaround or transition from not liking something to absolutely loving something I've ever known. When I first started my journey into Classic Who, I honestly really couldn't stand Sylvester McCoy and a large part of his era. I honestly, mate, I just couldn't get my head around it, as you all know. But now I've got to tell you, I absolutely love Sylvester McCoy and his era. Honestly, it's grown on me so quickly and so, such like an epiphany almost. It's like, why did you ever, maybe it's just because I was so into some of the other classic Doctors and stuff, and I was constantly watching that and stuff. But anyway, loving Sylv now, won't say loving, but, I'm more tolerant of the rolling of every single R in every sentence, in every scene.
And he's got loads of opportunity to use it in this, hasn't he? So you got like the gods of Ragnarok and all that.
Yes, so The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. This was back in 1989. And this is a 4-parter. Written by Stephen Wyatt, directed by Alan Waring, and our buddy, Mr. Cartmel, overseeing the script as usual.
Very much so, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And right, so really simple synopsis, this one. The Doctor and Ace get an invitation to go and visit a psychic circus on the planet of Seganax. Ace is a bit reluctant at first because she doesn't like clowns, understandably. Have you ever seen Stephen King's It? You'll be just as scared of clowns as everyone else from that time period. So with a bit of reluctance, they go to this planet. They land nowhere near the circus, which is handy. And en route to the circus, they find out that some sinister stuff is going on. They meet some unlikely characters. When they get to the circus, they realise that something is absolutely not right. People are disappearing. People are getting locked up. The clowns are not as happy and fluffy as you would like them to be. And it turns out that it's all a bit of a farce to please and appease the gods of Ragnarok. And as you all know, as the story goes, the Doctor does save the day, albeit with a couple of casualties.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah. Right, off the bat, great story, this one.
It is. And it is a great story. Yeah.
And it surprised me, this one, because on face value, I thought this looks absolutely shocking. When I was going through one of those phases, like, right, I haven't ordered any classic DVDs in a while, let me order a bunch. I looked at this one and I must have looked at it 2 or 3 times, and every time I thought, nah, I'll leave that one till later on because it just looks absolutely terrible. But what a mistake. What a mistake that was, because when you actually get into the story and watch it for a little while, it's a really, really good, well-written, bags of potential story.
Yeah. It's full of great ideas. Yep. It's full of great characters as well. I was just thinking, actually, you mentioned Stephen Wyatt, the writer, because the other story he wrote is Paradise Towers. And although I really like Paradise Towers, but although it's not perfect what actually ended up being on screen, again, it was full of these great characters. Pecs or whatever, but you know what I mean? But they are memorable characters. And I think, again, this one, he's done a great job. In fact, if anything, he's done a better job with the characters in this, because it's a big cast.
Yes, I would say so.
There's a lot of people in this. There's a lot going on. But I think they're really good. I love the characters we get to know in this. So one of the things I love about Stephen Wyatt from his 2.2 stories is that he brings us into a world. Yes. So it's not it's not 2-dimensional. It's not just the Doctor and Ace landing on a planet and there's characters there, but they're inconsequential or whatever. Stephen Wyatt brings us into a world which I sort of invest in, and with the characters. So yeah, so I really like this one. Yeah,
good stuff. And it came at the right time within this series as well, because previous to this we had Silver Nemesis.
Yeah. But it should have been the other way around.
It should have been, yes.
Because Ace is wearing the... what's her name, the character? She's wearing the earring.
Flower Girl's... is it Flower Girl?
Flower
Girl? Flower somebody?
Flower Child, is
Flower
it?
Child, sorry.
Yeah, yes. She's... The earring that Ace is wearing in this, which was Flower Child's, she's already got on in right. Silver Nemesis, because I think they had to switch it round. Because I think Silver Nemesis was the 26th anniversary. Oh, I'm getting all confused now. Season 25, 25th anniversary story. and they wanted Silver Nemesis to go out on the right date, and I think for some reason it got pushed up in the schedule.
Yeah.
So because they got switched round, there's a bit of a continuity error there.
Yeah. So have we reviewed Silver Nemesis?
Not yet.
Not yet, right. So, but at that point, the Happiness Patrol and Silver Nemesis weren't really viewed as some of Doctor Who's best, even in this era with the Seventh Doctor, really. So it sort of came at the right time, and then it got followed on by Battlefield.
Yeah.
So, so we'll when we come around to reviewing those other stories, you'll get a bit more of an insight in why I'm saying that. But for me, it's one of those little gems within a series. Every Doctor's got that, that series run, and you have they have that one story where it's not looked at as the most popular one. Because I think with Sylve's era, it's probably Remembrance of the Daleks is probably the one that everybody would say, would be the best story from his era, or possibly, one of the most popular.
Definitely.
This is one of those little gems where it doesn't really get talked about in great detail. I'm not saying it's overlooked, but it doesn't really get talked about in so much detail. But it's just it's a great one to watch. It's not one that you would pick off the shelf and think, oh crikey, I'm going to have to sit through this. You actually think, it's a great story, I want to watch it. So it came at the right time, in my opinion, in the series.
Yeah, and I love that it finished up the series as well, because I think it really, like you said, it suits it. Because I think if we'd have gone out on series 25 with Silver Nemesis, not that it really matters much now, all this time later, but I think this one really is a great one to finish off the series. Yeah, absolutely,
mate. Yeah. Let's talk about the story as a whole then. So moving through the story, I completely agree with what you said. With Stephen Wyatt's writing, he completely creates that escapism within the show where you can get lost in the world that's been created for you.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. With some stories, they can feel a bit flat sometimes, and you feel like you're just going through the motions, like it's a story that's been created and the script isn't too bad, but the overall story feels a bit flat. And it's potentially something that we said about previous stories where you can't quite put your finger on it. There's nothing particularly bad with the story. It just doesn't feel particularly exciting, and it doesn't feel like, you're getting much out of it. Whereas this particular story, along with Paradise Towers, even though Paradise Towers is a little bit on the crazier side, at least it kind of draws you into that world, isolates you, and I completely found that with this story as well. The moment that the TARDIS lands on, I'm saying that right, aren't I? Seganax.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So as soon as the TARDIS lands on Seganax, I mean, really before that, even when you get that strange little
the little robot,
the invitation robot. Even when that turns up, as soon as you see the advert for the Psychic Circus on the screen, from that point on, really, you're into it, because you can see that the Doctor's really intrigued. He wants to go and check it out, but Ace is a bit more, I hate clowns.
Yeah.
So even from that point on, you think, there's something there.
I love that. I love that scene, actually. I've just got you saying about the robot. I'm so glad you mentioned him, because I'd almost forgotten that. I love that stupid bug-eyed robot that invites them to the circus, and that little scene with the Sylve juggling in the TARDIS and Ace, coming out in the Fourth Doctor's scarf, and it's a really nice little intro. I love it.
It's cool. She also has, I think it's Mel's top from
that's
another
right,
story. I can't remember which one, but she has
Paradise Towers, actually.
Paradise Towers, yep. Yeah. Yes, it's a great little opening scene, and from that point on, really, you're kind of drawn in immediately, because Sylvester McCoy has that great acting ability to give that expression, like sort of half excited, a quarter sort of disappointed that Ace doesn't want to be more into it, and another quarter like, we're just going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So he's got that great ability to sort of, as the viewer, sort of take your hand and drag you into the story and the adventure, which is great. And then story overall, I think the pacing was great in this story. With some classic stuff, it can drag a little bit, can't it? And you have certain stories where you think, Christ, let's just get on to the next one because, this is a bit slow. I didn't find that with this.
No, and I think one of the reasons for that is because it takes them a little while to actually get to the circus. I mean, I think they don't get to it till the end of episode 1, I don't think.
End of the episode, yeah.
End of episode 1, isn't it? So there's, you've got a whole episode before they even get to the circus. But one of the reasons I think it doesn't drag is because of the other characters in it, that you sort of care about and sort of get to know.
Yeah.
So, I agree. I think the pacing's really good. I think maybe a slight bit of padding here and there, but no, pretty much overall, it moves along at a good pace, yeah.
And I think that's because there's quite a lot going on as well. Like you said, it's a big cast. And you've got these pockets of things going on because we jump into the story initially, don't we, with Bellboy and Flower Child trying to escape the circus.
Yeah.
And they're being hunted down by these kites in the sky.
Kites with the eyes, yeah.
It sounds ludicrous, honestly. It sounds... If you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, you're probably thinking, what the... flipping, how are you talking about? But it all makes sense, later on.
Deadly kites,
yeah. So they're getting tracked down, aren't they? And Flower Child, unfortunately, gets killed near the beginning. That's how, hence she drops the earring that Ace finds. So it's got that coolness. It's got that coolness factor with the Doctor Who story because it's got the good ingredients straight away off the bat. It's got that, sinister. Limousine full of horrible clowns driving around trying
in
to
desert.
Yeah, you've got these strange kites. You've got the weird sort of bus conductor that kills Flower Child. So you've got that big conspiracy, that sinister thing going on, and then you've got the really light-hearted Ace trying on stuff. The Doctor juggling and playing spoons. It's got all those good ingredients that kick you off in the right direction straight away.
I forgot he played the spoons again. Yeah, that's brilliant. I was like, the spoons are back.
Because even Ace says, doesn't she? Oh, not the spoons
not
again.
The spoons. I still don't know how he did. When he's juggling and one of the balls vanishes, I still don't know how they did that.
Someone caught it.
Yeah, but they must have been like hanging over that dodgy TARDIS set. They must have just been...
Well, let's not forget, this was a temporary TARDIS set.
Yes, well, yeah.
Because the original studio had an asbestos breakout. They found a load of asbestos, didn't they? So they had to not use it for a week or so.
Well, I was going to say, this is really interesting, isn't it? Because this so nearly went down the same route as Sharda, where they'd filmed all the location stuff. And then when they come to do the studio, they couldn't do it because of the asbestos scare. So it so nearly got scrapped, didn't it?
That's
the story.
Right. Yeah.
But it was John Nathan Turner fought tooth and claw to get it finished because he was just like, I'm not having another Sharda. It's just not going to happen. And apparently he really went to great lengths to, because, at the time, the way things were with the show, they were just like, nah, write it off.
They didn't really
forget
care.
it.
Yeah.
So he arranged for this to be filmed in Elstree Studios car park where they set up the tent and the sets and the TARDIS set and all that. So like you said, so it's brilliant actually that this actually did finish getting made because it was so nearly a goner. And it really adds to that feel, doesn't it? Like all the sort of, when they're running through the circus corridors and you sort of almost feel like it's outside because of the wooden floor and that, it sort of really adds to it. Although apparently it was a nightmare for all the noise that they had to keep constantly stop filming because of all the noise outside from planes and cars.
I can imagine.
It was a fiasco. It was a real difficult shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great though. So I can imagine that because it was a temporary set, it was quite easy for somebody to just nip up on a ladder or a little crane or something and just, when he's juggling, lobs one of the balls
catch
up.
it.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, have you seen that brilliant photo of all the Doctor Who team with the Allo cast? Because apparently they had the fire alarm went off at one point during filming.
That's right.
So they all had to sort of evacuate the building, and there's pictures of like all the Allo cast with the firemen and like sorry, not Daleks, but Sylvester McCoy and all that, and it's brilliant to, that era of time, all these people. Just in that one spot, just outside. Yeah, I love it. But I'm so glad they did complete this story.
Yeah. So pacing, I found it pretty much spot on, to be honest with you. There was a decent amount of, obviously we had the typical running away in who Ace does quite a bit of running.
Yeah, but I kind of like she feels properly scared in this. Sophie sells it to me that she really doesn't like. Maybe she doesn't. She really sells it to me that she wants to be nowhere near that blimmin' circus.
Well, that was a good bit of character writing, because at the beginning, she actually makes a point, doesn't she, that she's not scared of anything. She says that right at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, you know, I'm not scared of it. It's either I'm not scared of anything or nothing scares me or something like that. But then, yeah, when we actually get to the point where the clowns are after her, she does look somewhat petrified.
Terrified, yeah. That bit where she's locked in the room and they all start slowly moving. I mean, that's brilliant.
Pretty creepy, yeah.
That's proper Doctor Who creepy, yeah.
Of course, yeah. So the story ticks along nicely. The pacing's really good. Direction, I thought was pretty good for the time. There wasn't, because of the situation of what was going on with sets and stuff like that, it was a bit of a challenge to get, because it's not as much of a controlled environment as being in a proper studio. So, and like you said, they had these problems with, like, you know, planes going over and
they had to constantly stop and start.
Yeah, like massive trucks reversing outside the studio with, like, big, you know. So it was quite a challenge to get it done to a decent standard that John Nathan Turner and so on would be happy with to put it out to the public. So while it's not perfect, if you realise and appreciate the reason why it's not perfect, then it kind of, you sort of gloss over it. But for the most part, I thought the direction was pretty good, especially the location stuff. That was really good.
Yeah, I think the direction's really good, actually. I think Alan Waring did a great job with this, especially considering what you just mentioned as well. No, I thought it was really good. I think, it's quite, he's done his best to sort of give us some, you know, pretty, it's not just sort of standard shooting point like we said about some stories.
Yeah.
You know, I think he does a really good job with this.
And the location was really nice. It was mainly sort of not desert, but it was like, it wasn't even a quarry, really, was it? There wasn't any quarries in this one. It was more just a sort of a dirt road on the way to the circus, and that was set out in a field of just dry mud, really. It looked like it was really hot.
Yeah, I think somewhere near Dorset or something, because I think it's Alan Waring, actually, on the making of it, saying about the bus, because you know that's the same bus from Delta and the Bannermen, repainted. He was saying that they couldn't get it out or something after filming. They couldn't move it. So he said, as far as he knows, it's still there because they got permission to just leave it.
No way.
He said it's probably, honestly, it's on the making of. He said it's probably just buried under some sand, and I think it might have been a quarry. But he said, yeah, it's probably still there because we couldn't move it after we finished filming, so we got permission to leave it. It's probably not. It's probably been chucked, but it's just really weird to think that they just left that.
It could still be there.
Let's go find it. Yeah.
So yeah, location's really good. The circus is pretty good. Nothing amazing inside the circus. It's pretty small. Budget constraints, all that stuff. But it's still a good watch. The direction is still good. Pacing's good. From that perspective, it's all good. Right, let's speak about some characters.
Yes.
Because there's quite a few. What about the first two that we encounter then? So Bellboy and Flower Child. Because he plays quite a decent part throughout for the main part, doesn't he?
Yeah. I was gonna say I love the costumes in this as well. I love he kind of looks like he's on sort of Beatles cover or something, isn't it? Like the jacket and that. Considering they're not in it that much. Flower Child gets picked off pretty quick, but yeah, good performances from these guys. I like both of them actually. I particularly like what's his name? Bellboy, yep. Yeah,
Christopher Guard. Yeah,
because he's kind of the guy that's made these robots and they've all gone wrong, and he kind of blames himself, and he's kind of cracking up. He's sort of a bit like Paul, isn't he, from the Robot of Death, in the sense that he's the robots, but he's not quite. He hasn't gone to that class of going overboard with it. He's not, so he's kind of like disturbed by the fact that what's become of his robots. Really, I think he does that pretty well.
Yes, he does that very well. And one thing that it's very good about the supporting cast that I noticed throughout is that people like Bellboy, Deadbeat,
yeah.
Not so much Nord. We'll come on to him in a second.
Oh, quickly, you horrible man.
But yeah, so Ace, Deadbeat, Bellboy, and so on. The guys that are being chased after by the clowns, they do actually portray a real sense of, like you said earlier, they might actually be scared of clowns. I'm not sure, but they all do a really good job of being believably scared by these clowns because they are quite freaky, especially the chief clown. They are quite creepy because I don't like clowns in general anyway. I don't trust them. Don't trust them.
No,
Don't like the way
I'm
they
not
move.
a fan of clowns. Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell that they don't like them, and they bring that across really well. So, and there's real fear as well. That opening scene where the two of them are being chased by the kite and the clowns and stuff.
Like you said, anyone listening to this will be thinking, chased by kites. It does sound crazy, but it works so well.
It does work.
It really does. As you've mentioned him, can we just talk about the chief clown, Ian Reddington?
Yeah.
Isn't he just brilliant?
Really good casting.
He looks the part for a start because he's got quite unusual features, but he just looks brilliant. And he is properly creepy. And I love all the hand gesture movements, which our listeners can't see, but I'm doing them now. I love all that stuff that he does and the crazy eyes that he's got. Have you seen that outtake of that thing being dropped on his head during filming?
Yep.
Isn't that? There's a bit. It's the cell door. Basically they dropped it too soon, so he's supposed to back out. And the door's supposed to drop down because it's metal, isn't it? It's a metal cage.
Yes. Yep.
And basically on the first take or whatever, it really properly, he doesn't move back in time, or they drop it too soon, and it properly bangs him on the head. I think it smashed his teeth or something. It's really painful to watch.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but he's superb in it. I love the chief clown.
He's great. Yeah, we'll come on to him in a little while with him and the other clowns and so on.
Yeah.
So then we get introduced to, I think, the next person, because we get introduced to the woman, the stall lady.
Yeah, she's funny. She is. I like her.
Who serves up what looks like a big melon or something, and inside it is full of like yogurt and sweet corn or pumpkin seeds or something.
Disgusting, doesn't it?
And so she's only got a tiny part, but she was a really good little part. So she wasn't really comic relief, and she wasn't meant to be funny, but she had this. You couldn't help but sort of smile at her. She was very direct in her thoughts about the circus and newcomers and drifters and so on.
I love it because I love the bits, the sort of between her and Sylvester, like the scenes between them two. He's like, "Thank you, madam," and all that. There's an element of humour there, which is quite subtle but really quite good.
Yeah, and he's also trying to play down their intention because she's like, "Oh, you're not going to that stupid circus, are you?" And he's like, no. He's trying to play it down, but then he immediately turns around. He's like, "Can we get a lift to the circus?" To that guy, who is it, Nord, with the big
Nord.
So that's what. So Nord, potentially the only character in the story that hams it up a little bit, and goes a wee bit. I assume you think he's quite theatrical, then.
Yeah, I do. I'd agree with you. He does. He doesn't. Thankfully, he's not in it enough to ruin it, and he's not terrible, but he does ham it up big time. The thing is, he's one of those actors that used to sort of pop up in loads of shows, and he kind of always did that sort of character. So I guess they cast him to do that sort of character, but he's still quite funny. I mean, as I said, he's the sort of thing that may have annoyed me at the time when I was watching this when it went out, when I was a lot younger, thinking, "Oh no, he's silly," But now I kind of just find him a bit funny with his. What does he say? "I'll go nibble your ears off" or something.
Yeah, he says, "I'll do something terrible to your horrible ears," or something like that.
He's got some very fetching headgear on as well. Looks a little bit like Zelda's headgear from Robots of Death, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
So he comes
on his bike.
On his bike, he comes roaring across on his massive, like, chopper 3-wheel bike or something.
He's got a cheeseburger in it.
He's got Yes. Ace offers to fix it. He's having none of it. He's very rude. Drives off. And then the next time we see him, he gets thrown into the circus act and then gets obliterated. So,
that is funny, though, when he starts off well. He thinks, "Oh, I've got this."
Yeah.
And then they say, "And now tell us your best joke." And he's like, "A joke?
Yeah.
Well, don't really do jokes." Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next thing we see is
puff of smoke, and that's him.
Yeah.
Gone.
Goner.
So yeah, Nord's an interesting one. He is very OTT with it. He's probably, because I did recognise him. I'm sure he's been in some other
he was in loads of
shows
things
and stuff
then.
like that.
Yeah,
and he plays that scoundrel sort of nasty character.
Yeah.
So he probably thought, "Oh, I've got this. I've done this character a million times. It's all good." But he was quite cringeworthy, but almost funny at the same time, I would say. Was his name Daniel Peacock? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. Then we had the little boffiny nerd whiz kiddie character.
Hello, whiz kid.
Who looked like a combination of Where's Wally and Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, he's Adrian Mole, isn't he? He was Adrian Mole.
That's right, yeah.
I remember that.
And from, where did I read this? It might have even been in the Script Doctor book that I'm reading at the moment, but his character was put in there because he was meant to be like some of the fans of the show at the time.
Exactly. Yeah, he basically represents the fandom at the time, being very geeky, knowing everything about the show.
Yes.
And I think perhaps John Nathan Turner, loved it when he gets obliterated.
Yes.
In the circus, just a pair of steaming glasses.
Now, personally speaking, that was a little bit of a. I'm hoping anyway, or assuming that they weren't tarring all of the Doctor Who fans with that brush at the time, because I know that, well, not me personally at the time, because I was only, how old would I have been? 9 years old. But reading articles and reviews and speaking to people who were fans of the show, a bit older than when I was at that time, they weren't like that at all. So I'm hoping it's not a generalisation and that's what they think that all Who fans were like at the time. But I know that there were a couple of fans that really pestered John Nathan Turner and Andrew Cartmel for a couple of years, constantly sending in script ideas.
Telling them how it should be done.
Telling them exactly what the Doctor should be saying and doing, and because it links to this story, and really just nerding out completely, but not really getting it. So he's an annoying character, but which is good because I think he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be that annoying little boffin that knows everything, and it is quite good when he gets obliterated. It is quite funny. It's funny. Good but at the same time, you do feel a little bit, well, he was kind of harmless, really. He wasn't really doing anything majorly wrong.
No.
He wasn't really a threat to anybody. He was fairly harmless, but a part of me thinks, that was a bit of a sly dig at some Doctor Who fans, because he just turns up with good intentions and then just gets obliterated.
Well, I suppose it is a really, the thing is, it's just, he's just there to represent the sort of annoying quarter of fandom that would perhaps driving JT up the wall at the time. So it's just a little in-joke, isn't it, for JT to say, he probably just got a little bit of something out of his system by having him obliterated. It's the sort of thing Stephen Moffat would probably love to do now. If you know what I mean.
He'd love to do it now. Yeah. And he has a cool little tank top, though. Very similar to
very nice. The Doctor's, and a bow tie, doesn't he? Does he have a bow tie?
Bow ties are cool.
Yeah, bow ties cool. Glasses. Yep. Yeah, he's got it all going on. Right.
Other supporting characters. What about? Okay, so when we actually get to the circus, so we've met the clowns, we've met some other people on the way. When we get to the circus, we have is it Morgana, the psychic?
Yes, the psychic woman, yeah.
She was quite intriguing because
she doesn't like what's going on, does she?
She doesn't
she's
like it, no.
Don't want to really be a part of this. But she's also quite sinister in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's obviously in cahoots with the people who run in the circus. More specifically, the ringmaster guy, the rapper guy. And so she kind of senses what's going on for sort of her safety and the people around her, because she knows that if they can't provide entertainment for these three gods, then they're on the chopping board next. So she's kind of got that, but she doesn't like it. She knows that it's no good.
She don't really want to be a part of it.
Yeah, bad things happening. I quite like her performance, Deborah Manship. I quite liked her. She was. I found her quite interesting. I just wish that I'd seen a bit more of her. In the story.
Do we get the impression that this circus was once a happy place, and then one day the gods of Ragnarok just turned up and took over, and they were like, oh, these guys seem cool, and then 10 years later they're still sat there and they're having to entertain them, and they're like, oh, I wish we'd never let these guys in. Or is it that the psychic circus was always built around the gods of Ragnarok? Because I get the impression it was once a fun place, that these guys just sort of took over one day.
It's never revealed, is it? the backstory.
No, but doesn't one of them, I forget, doesn't one of the characters say, it used to be a happy place or something?
Yeah.
Which made me think that perhaps the gods of Ragnarok just turned up one day and said, let's show us, put a show on for us. Oh, sure. And then started obliterating people, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that's probably more likely the scenario where it was a traveling circus and it was all good, typical thing. And then these guys turned up, and then it's all gone to poo poo.
Yeah,
yeah. So I probably go down your train of thought on that one,
because I think Morgana sort of seems to me to be, like you said, someone who would rather not be part of it, but kind of can't escape.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I would say so. Ringmaster. We have some very snazzy little rap tunes from him, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Funny enough, when you were saying right at the start of our review about how this perhaps sometimes gets slightly overlooked compared to sort of remembrance and stuff. Yeah. I think, one of the things that sticks in my mind with the story is when it very first aired, I remember cringing at the rapping. I remember thinking, oh, no, Doctor Who, what are you doing? I thought they were trying to be cool at the time. And I didn't really like it. I still think it is a bit cringy, but it's nowhere near as bad as I sort of always think it is, if you like.
Yeah.
It kind of really, it does actually work quite well, actually, with the story when I watch it now. Not sure about the Ringmaster myself. Yeah. I do love it when they also get obliterated, and I do love it when because they've been throwing these people in presumably for years, haven't they, to their death, and then when there's no one left, it's down to the Ringmaster and his assistant or whatever, and they just sort of get, what happens to them? They get put in a box and blown up or something, don't they?
They get, it's like the start of a magic trick, but then instantly that they're going to get blown up. So
they sort of get their comeuppance, really. But what do you think of him, though, the old Ringmaster?
I think he's okay. One of the reasons why I like him is because he's a Native American, right? That's not an accent he's putting on. He is from America. He's from Florida and Chicago, whatever. So that's good that there's an American actor in Doctor Who, that somebody that's not putting on and failing miserably at doing an American accent is pretty good. And he actually went on to be quite a big movie star.
Did he?
After this, because he was in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, God, Stanley Kubrick. Past, yeah.
And he was also in the James Cameron Aliens, the Aliens movie, alongside Sigourney Weaver and all that stuff. So he went on to be quite a big star, and he's been in Mission Impossible and some other things. So so it's kind of, I kind of agree with you. The rapping does seem a little bit,
it's a bit cheesy.
But when you look back on it now, in context with the story, it kind of fits, because the whole story is a little bit, not necessarily quirky, but it does have these sort of strange elements, around it. So it does fit kind of the story, but it is very cringeworthy.
It does.
But I thought he was pretty good. He had this sort of intensity when he wasn't playing the happy sort of Ringmaster, and when he was talking to Morgana and telling the clowns to hunt down the Doctor and stuff, he did have this intensity and this very much,
Actually, I think you've just hit on something there, which is why I think these characters work really, really well. Because actually, you're right. They've got two sides. Everyone in this pretty much has really fleshed out their own characters. So because they've sort of got a performance side of when they're in the circus, and then they've got that bit when they're sort of a bit like when you're at work. You do your work voice and hello, how can I help, and they do that, and then when they're not at work, they're sort of almost like normal people again. And nearly everybody in this has got that, haven't they? They've got their sort of real personalities, because even the chief clown, he's like, he talks very theatrical when he's in the circus, but then when he's outside, he's like, find them, get them, and so that helps to make them more realistic, I think, showing the two sides.
And he does that very well. I found. So did the chief clown. Does it very well. Okay. What about the other two characters from the support cast? Were probably the most sort of the top of the pile of the support cast, and that was Captain Cook and Mags. Those two. So we meet them because he's like an adventurer, explorer, old school kind of Columbus kind of explorer, isn't he? He's got very old sort of safari look going on. And
well, WizKid's very pleased to meet him, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
He's quite a name in those circles. Yeah.
So it turns out that he sort of absconded Mags to sort of travel with him because she's like a decent bit of protection, which we find out later on in the story.
Yeah, it's a strange relationship between those two, isn't there?
Yeah, so she kind of sort of at his every beck and call. He's like making his tea all the time and sort of doing as she's told. But as a byproduct of that, he's got like a bit of protection because we find out later that she's aware something.
Yeah, she's pretty much a werewolf.
A werewolf thingy. Which we'll come onto in a second, which absolutely scared the living life out of me. But Captain Cook, really well played by
T.P. McKenna.
Yeah, really, really well played. That sort of face value, friendly chap, all the rest of it, but underlying quite a dark character, sinister character. Yeah. So in a different respect, though. So the people who work at the circus do that for a reason. You know, they have to have that happy welcome to the circus, you know, at face value, but behind the scenes it's all very, you know, there's very, very dark stuff going on there. Whereas he does it for a different reason. He does it because he always wants to better his own situation. You know, he's very
just
selfish.
out for saving his own skin, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. So he does it for a different reason, but the same execution, if you like. So I really, really liked his performance. T.P. McKenna, really, really old school British. What? Old boy, all that stuff, really good. But then it turns out he makes some really dodgy decisions, doesn't he? When he's at the circus, he kind of puts people's lives before his own, and he's happy to sit there and sipping on tea while people are getting killed out in the circus and stuff. So,
tricking people with his coins, his double-sided coins, little rascal.
Yeah, so I really liked his character. A bit of a shady one, a bit of a dark one, but I really liked him.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, T.P. McKenna, once again, he's another sort of quite well-known actor at the time. Appeared in loads of things back in the day, and probably a bit of a name actually back then to be in Doctor Who. I think he's great in it. He's very quite. He said he's a good thin line between likable and quite a sort of almost sinister, nasty character, and he plays it really, really well.
Yeah,
I like all that, and I love. Yeah, like you said, he also brings a bit of humour to what are sometimes quite harsh situations. I think
Yeah.
With some of the stuff he comes out with. Yeah, good. He's good.
Yeah. Mags,
really great. Jessica Martin, really interested. Now, I was going to say to you, actually, I'm sure you didn't see that coming when she took, because I remember I didn't at the time. When she turns into the werewolf, I was like,
no.
What the hell's going on?
I did not see it coming at all. And
I knew something was going to go off with her, but yeah, not that.
I tell you what, that is a scary scene.
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen this I think this is the third time that I've seen this one. When I watched it this week for this review, I think it's the third time I've seen it. And I haven't watched it with my sons at all. Not out of choice, just because I haven't watched it. But I'm pretty confident my youngest, who is, he's going to be 9 at the end of the month, I'm pretty sure that he would have really been scared by that scene.
Yeah, and it comes perhaps back to the direction a bit as well, because I think what sells it is the way that Captain Cook is manipulating her. So you sort of almost feel sorry for her because she doesn't want, to do what she's doing. But he sort of forces it out of her, doesn't he? Forces her to become that creature. But that's one of those things in Doctor Who which they didn't always manage to pull off. So that scene where she's turning into a werewolf and going like that to the camera could so easily have been laughable, and if it hadn't been done right. But yeah, again, probably down to the direction that is properly like scary. It's a scary. You think, oh my god, what's going on with Mags? And also because she's quite a likable character, isn't she? She's very sensible. She's a good person. She wants to do the right thing. We're not quite sure how she's got lumbered up with Captain Cook, who's quite a selfish person. So you like Mags, and so when you see her being manipulated and turning into this werewolf, which she can't help, you are properly like scared by it. You think, oh no, what's going on? It's good though that she then turns on Captain Cook.
He gets his comeuppance.
He's a bit surprised, isn't he? He's like, what are you doing? Yeah, so that's quite good.
I found it really scary, I'll be honest with you.
It's good.
Because the makeup was really good, like the eye lenses that she has in, and like the green drool coming down, the big teeth and her hair and everything. It really is quite a frightening scene.
Yeah.
Really is quite frightening. So
at the time as well, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really, really good scene. Really like Mags's character, even more so when she turns on Captain Cook and he gets his comeuppance. And then she sort of ends up with Deadbeat at the end, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She them to sort of, now
go off to rebuild the world.
Yeah, which is quite nice. It's quite a nice little ending for them too. And yeah, so that, I mean, supporting cast wise, with the exception of a bit of OTT acting from Nord, Daniel Peacock, really, really good supporting cast in this one.
Yeah, great characters, good cast, well cast. Yeah, really, really good.
Yep, one of the better ones from Classic Who, because I found with Paradise Towers, the choice of actor, because it's written by the same guy, I just found that the characters were a little bit more cheesier, a little bit more just not. I didn't buy into them as much with Paradise Towers.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But with this one, casting was spot on for the most part.
It's funny actually, because even the people who get nearly nothing to do are good. Like I'm just looking down the list of other characters in it, like like the mum, dad, and the little girl who turn out to be the gods of Ragnarok. I mean, they practically get nothing to do.
Yeah.
But even in those tiny little scenes, they're good. They properly sell the fact that they're, not otherworldly, if you like, because it's really easy to go over the top in those scenes, but they play it down brilliantly. So everybody, even Nord, I know he goes over the top, but everybody in this, I think, is really doing a good job.
Yeah. I was going to just mention the gods of Ragnarok, because we see them in a few scenes in human form, with their eyes glowing green now and then and stuff like that. And because after the first time that it's almost like the story is a bit like the old Caesars of Rome in the Colosseum, where they would watch a show and they would give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And if it was a thumbs down, they would get killed. And so it's that kind of thing, isn't it? They're just there for their pleasure and their entertainment. And in human form, it's a lot scarier, because that's not their real form, because their eyes are glowing green and their voice is, that very deep, big, booming voice out of a little girl.
Yeah,
it's quite
almost Exorcist-like.
Yeah, so really good. And then the costumes that the gods look, towards the end of in that last scene where the Doctor's doing the magic trick. I love
that stone. Yeah, that stone set with them.
Yeah, that's all done really well. And I really like the costume as well, like those sort of like the stone helmets they look like almost. And
yeah,
it's really it's great stuff actually, because
it's a great design, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very simple but really good design. Yeah.
And if, like we said at the beginning, if you haven't seen this one, you're probably thinking, what the bloody hell is going on? Because we've mentioned clowns, kites, robotic bus conductors, werewolves, circuses. Like,
it's mad, isn't it, when you think about it all?
Strange geek characters and this guy Nord, and now we're talking about Stone Pete. Honestly, if you can look past that initial, like, oh my God, what is going on, and just stick it on and watch it, it's a great watch.
That end bit is brilliant, though, isn't it? I mean, I love it when Sylve goes through that tunnel and into the
effects,
actual real world. I mean, I just love the set and those three gods, and it gives Sylve. It kind of puts him in the spotlight in episode 4, doesn't it? Because he gets to do some tricks, which actually I think are pretty good. I mean, the bit where he turns round and then he's suddenly got the umbrella.
The umbrella, yeah, that's cool.
Now, how does he do that? I mean, it's not a jump cut, is it?
It's not, no.
It's not a jump cut.
No.
Who's the magician that showed him how to do it? Because he was really famous at the time.
It was a guy called Geoffrey Durham.
Yeah, is that the man who was married to Victoria Wood? Possibly.
Possibly, but his stage name was the Great Soprendo.
Yeah, see,
he was a big
I'm old
magician.
enough to remember that. Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
Yeah, he was married to Victoria Wood, yes.
He was, yeah, I remember him.
He was big in the 80s. Big, famous magician, was on TV quite a lot.
That's right.
Really, really good.
So he showed Sylvester to do a lot of the tricks, didn't he? And it's great because he gets Sylvester to sort of do his comic bit without going to OTT.
That's right. A bit of a shame he couldn't get the spoons out. But he does some cool tricks though, like when he's swallowing the eggs and he sets the metal pan thing on fire, and then when he puts it out, there's a snake in there. It's really
Yeah,
quite
it's
some
good.
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that last scene was great. So let's talk about Sophie Aldred as Ace.
Yes.
Pretty good in this one.
Really good.
I would say. I've seen her better. I've seen her better. I think.
You're thinking of Curse of Fenric, aren't you?
Curse of Fenric, yeah. Ghostlight, she's pretty good in.
Yes.
I just felt that in this one, this is not a criticism at all. Don't get me wrong. This is not like, I don't think she was bad in this. I just felt like she needed a bit more to do in the story for me, because she gets in immediately when they get to the circus. She gets chased by the clowns because the chief clown notices the earring that she's pinned onto the jacket. So she has this thing where she's escaping from the clowns. And then after that, I don't really see her as pivotal in the story until the end, where she controls the robot that kills the clowns.
Yeah, I suppose the thing buried in the sand.
Yeah, so in between that bit, I saw a lot of running, and I saw a lot of, typical Ace stuff, but there wasn't anything that I thought that, she was like dead important, so she was good at the beginning, she was good at the end. But in the middle, I just felt like I didn't really see enough of like the good stuff that Ace can do.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. I slightly disagree, because I quite like Ace in this. I think she sells the fear factor to me.
Oh, she does. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, she's bad.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You'd like to see her be a bit more active. I think what it is, because I suppose I like the scenes, like I said, like when she's shut in the room is a great sort of build up to the end of that episode and stuff. And I also like there's a bit where they first arrive at the circus and she can hear Mag screaming over the music, but the Doctor can't. And I really like that.
That's cool, yeah.
It's a very small thing, but it's just the fact that Sylvester's like, you're imagining it. I can't hear anything. It's like, wait, stop stalling, but she can hear it. And I don't know, Sophie sells the fear factor to me in this. So, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, but I think she's pretty good in it, actually.
Yeah, she is good. Sophie Aldred does a great performance as Ace. She is very good. I think it's just me looking at the story as a whole. It was just that middle point for me. I just thought that, she wasn't really up. She probably was doing, she was doing okay in the scenes that she had, but I just felt like her important parts were the beginning and the end. Whereas the Doctor, for me, I thought was, let's move on to him, actually.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Sylve. I thought he was great and important the whole way through.
I think he's flawless in this. I think Sylvester's absolutely brilliant in this story.
He's nailed his version of the Doctor in this story, hasn't he? He's
definitely
completely in the zone.
Yeah, 100%. He's totally found his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got all the little mannerisms that we know about Sylve. They're all there in this one, aren't they? The rolling of the R's, the question mark umbrella, the little playing of the spoons, the funny little one-liners and the little winks, and just all those, and also the shoutiness as well. There's one scene, isn't there, where he's really bellowing in someone's face. Who is it? There's one scene where he's really shouting back at somebody.
Is it Captain Cook, mate? I can't remember now.
Do you know what? It probably is. I think it's Captain Cook, yeah. And he's really angry, bellowing in his face. So for me, in this story, he's really got that full spectrum of all the great stuff that we like about Sylve. They're all in here, but they're not overly done.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, like in his first series, there were times when he was a bit over the top at times, especially with the humour and that, and some of the pratfalling.
Yeah.
Where in this, like you said, he's sort of got it all. It's all in there, but he's just sort of pitched the performance right.
Yeah.
He's really, really good in it. Yeah,
he's cracking. And some standout scenes would be when he's talking to the stalls lady at the beginning.
Yeah,
when he's really having that cool little conversation with her, and he's just on point. He knows that she doesn't want them to go to the circus. She thinks it's ridiculous, and she's not happy about all these, foreigners turning up and all that stuff. But he can sense that, but he's still playing her a little bit. And then every person that he speaks to, so Nord, Nord's like screaming in Ace's face, and the Doctor does nothing about it. He's still playful. He's like, can we get a lift and all that lot?
And I loved you said at the beginning as well about how he's like almost like a little child that he can't wait to go to this circus, and he plays that nicely as well because Ace is doesn't want anything to do with it, even though she won't admit that she's scared. She doesn't want to go, and he's just like he's desperate to get there and find out what's going on, and he does that really, really well.
Yeah, he does. And another couple of scenes just quickly would be when Mags turns into the were-girl, and she's after the Doctor. She's chasing him, and he still won't retaliate. He's still like, no, Mags, no.
Yeah.
And then she goes after Captain Cook, and even then he's still like, don't do it, Mags, no. So that was a really good scene. He played that really well. And then the final scene, obviously, with the magic tricks in front of the gods. So great stuff from Sylve.
They are a brilliant Doctor companion pairing, I think. I mean, they just naturally, I think maybe because they got on so well off screen as well, I think so anyway. I think you really feel the sort of friendship between the Doctor and Ace. They just come across as a great pairing up, I think. Yeah. Sylvester and Sophie. Yeah.
Any notes before we get on to scores?
Yeah. Just two quick things I just wanted to mention. Considering this is, what year is this? 1988?
89.
89, is it?
Yeah.
No, 88 it is. December, right at the end. Oh, sorry, yeah, well, 88, and then it did go into January 89. Sorry,
mate,
yeah.
Anyway.
It's over Christmas. Wow, I didn't realise that. Just quickly, I think the effects stand up really, really well, considering they're very, very simple effects. I mean, the circus, the way they've matched up the real entrance on location to the second half of the circus, which is a model shot, I think looks great. I think the very simple graphic in the background of the planet for the time still looks good. I mean, it's a graphic, okay, it's not, they could do it a million times better now, but I still think it looks good for the time. It doesn't look like some of the effects that we got back then. So the effects are good. But one thing I really do want to mention just before we go into scores is the music. We talked about the rap music, but the incidental music from Mark Ayres, his first score for Doctor Who, and he went on to become quite heavily involved in the music after this. I think the music in it is, I just think it's great. It's really unusual for a start, and it just really adds to the story. I think it works brilliantly. I don't know if you agree, because it is quite an unusual score, but I love Mark Ayres' soundtrack to this.
Yes, I'm glad that you said that, because I completely forgot and I wouldn't have mentioned it, but I love the music in these.
Yeah, it's great.
So the ones that he's done, specifically Remembrance of the Daleks and Ghostlight, along with this one, is just brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely
and it's very, very
brilliant.
different, because he also did Fenric, I think.
Yes,
he
Fenric,
did. Fenric,
yes.
yeah. But I don't know, the music he does for this, it's those, I can't really, you know what I mean, the sounds that he's using are very, very different, whereas some of the other scores you can instantly tell it's Mark Ayres. You think, okay, he's sort of using those sounds. But yeah, it's unusual because this is his first one as well. So, but it just works really, really well with the story.
It's great. It's got that modern feel to it. So it's got like, a funky drum, sort of beat going on, but also, it's got these sci-fi little sounds in there and a really nice, it's just great. It's a really great score. Really good. Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff. So yeah, I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yeah. Scores. It's you to go first this week.
Me to go first. It's a very high score for me. I so really want to give it a 9. I'm not sure. I've written 8.5 out of 10, which is what I'm going to say. So 8.5 out of 10. It's a very, very strong story. I really do like it. I'm very tempted to go 9 out of 10, but I rate 8.5. I don't really know what I'm knocking off for 0.4, really, to be honest. It's just a great Doctor Who story, and it's bizarre to think they haven't used clowns in Doctor Who before. It seems a really obvious thing to do. Yeah. So it's amazing that we've got right to the end of Doctor Who's sort of first era, if you like, before it was taken off TV. It's amazing that we got that far into it without a clown story. I think I'm thinking of the Celestial Toymaker, but even in that, they don't feature
not really
prominently like this. So, do you know what? No, I'm going to do it. I'm scribbling out 8.5. I'm going to write it 9 out of 10. I love it.
You're going to go for a 9?
I am. I've changed it. 9 out of 10.
We did have Davison dressed up as a clown very briefly in Black Orchid, didn't we?
Well, it's a Harlequin.
Was it a Harlequin? Not really the same thing, is it?
You say Harlequin, I say clown. Can you differentiate. No.
Anyways,
Yeah.
for me, I'm going in with a 9 as well.
Are you?
Indeed.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Because I can't really think what to knock.
It's yeah.
There isn't really anything wrong with it, really.
There isn't. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those stories where it's just really enjoyable from the very beginning right up until the final scene. It's just really enjoyable watch, and all the characters. I mean, I think it makes a big difference in Classic Who when they get the support cast right.
Yeah.
Because some stories with Who, like we said, with Paradise Towers and so on, it can really sort of affect your enjoyment of it because you think, oh, crikey, where did they get this guy from?
Yeah, off the street, yeah.
So, but I think the support cast is brilliant in this. The story and the writing is great, considering the constraints of all the set stuff with what they had going on. Fantastic job. Music's great. Sylve's great. Ace is great for the most part. There really isn't a lot to like. I mean, I think maybe knocking a point off just because there were a couple of scenes where you feel like, well, for me anyway, I'm knocking a point off because I feel like Ace could have done a bit more in the middle part of the story, and also Nord was a bit OTT, and there's little things like that. You say, yeah.
It's not, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn there. I mean, I was trying to think. It's not very often we score a 9 out of 10 on a story, So yeah, I'm sort of that's kind of what I was thinking. We're putting it up there with some of the best.
Yes, like the Robots of Death, we gave that a 9. The Twin Dilemma, we gave a 9. I'm joking.
It's just about to say what?
Yeah, the Team of the Cybermen, that was a 9. Vincent and Doctor. Yeah, so we reserved the 9s, and I don't think we've ever given a 10.
I might have given 5 Doctors a 10, I think.
Oh, did you?
Because I do really love 5 Doctors. But it's not often that we score that highly, but it's interesting because if I said to you, what's the best, what stories from Sylvester McCoy's era are the best? Well, maybe not to you, but if I said that to a fan, would this spring to mind? I think maybe it does perhaps get slightly overshadowed by Remembrance because it's a great story, but it's not one that gets talked about a lot, I don't think.
No, I mean, that's what, we said at the beginning. It's one of those little gems.
It's a little gem.
Yeah. What did you guys think? Our faithful, always ready to comment listeners. Over on Twitter, our good friend George Garrity, over multiple tweets.
Oh, yes.
Got excited about this one, said, OMG! Exclamation mark. Yes, exclamation mark. This one is one of my favourites. Love everything. Mags, the Professor, the Circus Loyal Crew, the Evil Clowns, the Robots, the Gods, and of course, Sylve and Ace. I can even tolerate the Biker, who will do something horrible to your ears. And the Circus Fanboy. Yes, it has cheesy lines, but if you look past these, it is amazing. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Straight
right.
into 10.
Cheers, George.
At Doctor Who fan, at Da Doctor Who fan, as in Da Doctor Who fan. Love this story. The Chief Clown was a scary villain, but some of the acting was off in this one.
Oh.
New fans won't like it.
Interesting
Thought there. And then I think that was it on Twitter. Actually, yeah, somebody else did comment. It was Michael Lewis, Twitter name My Fan Pleasure, says, bad Doctor Who is still better than no Doctor Who.
Oh, so he doesn't like it.
Yeah, so except Fear Her. That episode is evil, but so a little bit of love there, a little bit not. Let's do our first audio review, our only audio review this week. This was Alex Kingdom.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Now, before I start this audio review, I'd just like to say thank you to you guys. Now, just so you know, the reason why I'm saying this is because you two, as well as many people, have inspired me to make my own works in YouTube and other stuff around. I've been filming, I've bought a new camera so I can film, and I just want to say that it's all because of people like you. Not, there's also other people around it, but you guys are one of my main inspirations, so thank you for that. But anyway, the greatest show in the galaxy. Oh my god, it's actually good. Now, when I looked at this one, I was like, this is going to be shocking, I'm not going to enjoy this one, and then it kind of scared the hell out of me. Now, I'm 15. I don't get scared easily, I mean, but when... I don't like clowns to start with, so there's a lot of clowns in it, so I was just shaking all the way through. But again, it's also brilliant with Sylvester McCoy at the end when he's doing his little circus act, and that's all good. Ace, I think, has a really good story in this one where, you know, she doesn't want to go to psychic circus. But again, I really like the characters of Mags, and the captain is really someone that you don't really like, and how mean he is to Mags. You really get behind Mags and you really enjoy her story. But honestly, my favourite part of this episode was at the start, when you realise even in space the Doctor still gets junk mail. Anyway guys, I'm going to give The Greatest Show in the Galaxy an 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. I think it works fine. The villains are a bit weak though, but again, that's just my opinion. See you guys next week.
Cheers, Alex.
Cheers, Alex, and all the best with the YouTube and all the stuff you're doing.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Over on Facebook, Lewis Palmer says, when you announced that you were reviewing this last week, I literally screamed out yes, because this underrated gem is one of my favourite ever Doctor Who stories.
Oh, wow.
The world of Seganex feels like a lived-in world, and the characters feel like they've been there for a while. Clowns creep me out, and these guys are no exception. The chief clown is incredibly menacing and really provides a threat. The fact that you only hear the screams of the people in the ring makes it all the more creepy. This is one of Ace's best stories, and the Doctor is amazing in this. I just adore this one, and although part 4 lags a little bit, that isn't enough to stop me giving this a 9.5.
Excellent. Cheers, Lewis.
Good stuff. Jeff Waddle says, creepy clowns, villainous gods, a multitude of bizarre characters, quite a lot going on, probably too much in brackets, doesn't all hang together, and some of the acting is average at best. I'm looking at you, Master Mole.
He's talking about WizKid.
WizKid, yeah. But that's all that's wrong. Definitely more a blueprint for New Who and Big Finish than what came before. Just goes to show, given the budget constraints, it's all about the script and the ideas. 8 out of 10.
Excellent.
So that's fairly positive from Jeff, I would say.
Yes, that's pretty positive, yeah.
George Coppen, brilliant story. 7th Doctor is my favourite, and this is a very creepy story. They should do a clown story with Capaldi. 9 out of 10.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, Sammy Satine. So there's a psychic circus on planet Siganex where the acts are disappearing. But why are they disappearing? And who is the person behind this strange circus? Luckily, the 7th Doctor and his companion Ace with her Nitro 9 are here to help. Defeating the gods of Ragnarok who feed off entertainment, and as soon as you stop entertaining them will kill you, is not an easy task. Luckily, the Doctor distracts him with a magic show long enough for Ace to pass him the medallion through the dimensional portal and save the day. Should have read that out at the beginning.
Yeah.
I like this story. Ace is one of my favourite companions, and her and the 7th Doctor get on very well. I like Mags the werewolf and Flower Child. Don't like the captain. He's a nasty man. Overall, 8 out of 10.
Yes, another strong one. Yeah.
Yes. Danny Brown says, great story, good villains. The ending's a bit of a disappointment, but still good. 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Andrew Dark left a huge comment, so I'm only going to read some of it. Light the psychic paper and stand back. Wiser Whovians than me have pointed out this story as a political and social commentary.
I thought that was Happiness Patrol, but it could be. Yeah,
could be.
Not sure.
Written around the themes of Margaret Thatcher, nuclear war, economic depression, and the coming of cable TV.
No, that's Happiness. I think he's getting confused. I might be wrong, but I think he's mixing up this with Happiness Patrol.
Maybe. So he goes on to say, we're left with a show that is best described as Cirque de Quarry. Meets the budget cuts of the gods of Ragnarok. They're trying to save money by cutting the sets, costumes and location. The actors earnestly struggle to perform with some style and belief, but the dialogue is so bland and the writing is so woolly that it needs a through line like a bleeding man needs a blood transfusion. Oh dear. Like Easy Rider, watched sober, you wish someone would pass the doobie or spike your drink. How else can we grok the psychedelic tinsel tunnel, which the Doctor passes through? Goes on to say, enjoy the podcast and looking forward to hearing your thoughts. A great excuse to rewatch the show. So I don't think Andrew likes this one.
No, it doesn't sound like it. No, I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, because he's definitely talking about Greatest Show in his second half of his comment, but I'm not sure about the first half. I'm a little bit confused, but
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for your comment, Andrew, but just let us know, just clarify what episodes you're talking about so we don't take this out of context. But thank you very much for posting.
It could be me that's confused. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, I think, a lot of that stuff is Happiness Patrol. Anyway, lastly on Facebook, Kieran Knight says, brilliant story. Having the right mix of camp 80s fun and classic Who creepiness. 7 and 8 are brilliant as usual, along with the lead clown. I also love the song Psychic Circus on the DVD, made by Mags, Bellboy, Captain Cook and Mark Ayres. I didn't notice that before.
Nor did I.
Fun fact, the actress who plays Mags is the mother of a girl who goes to my sister's school.
Oh, really?
Which is cool. Kieran gives it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, okay.
Anything on the Geek Sandbag?
No, there wasn't anything on Geek Sandbag this week, which is disappointing because I was really like this story. I was just looking to see if this was reissued as a special edition because I don't remember that rap either that he's talking about. Didn't get a reissue, did it?
It didn't. No, there's only one.
Yeah. Maybe it's a hidden feature. I don't know. I'll have to go back and have a look at it now.
Yeah, maybe. But thank you.
I seem to recall it. I seem to recall it in the back of my head, but I didn't watch it this time. Anyway.
I don't. No. Yeah. Anyways, thank you all for all of your comments and views. Really good stuff. I'd just like to say before we move on that, like me, on the surface, this one might look a little bit zany, a little bit weird, and a little bit like, not sure about this one. But honestly, just give it a chance. Just, borrow it of somebody, or even better, go out and buy it. Stick it on. It's a great story to go through.
Ditto. Yeah.
What are we doing next week, dude?
Next week, oh wow, this is one that has been on the radar for a while, and it's sort of jumped around the schedule. It's definitely time that we did it. We will be reviewing the 11th Doctor story, Victory of the Daleks. So I'm hoping for some good debate next week, for some good comments from you guys listening, because I think it's one that does divide opinion. That
it definitely does, and I think you mentioned this ages ago.
I did.
You said to me, I really want to do Victory of the Daleks, quite a while ago now.
I've been wanting to do it for a while. It kind of got pushed back because we had a few Dalek stories close together, and then we had the new series, so it kind of has jumped around the schedule. But I think the last Dalek story we did might have been Dalek, the Ninth Doctor story. Have we done one since? So it's kind of jumped around a bit, so it'll be good to finally get our teeth into that one.
Indeedy. So look out for the Facebook post on that, and send in your video clips or your audio clips, whatever. We'll play them out for you. But as usual, do try and keep them to roughly a minute max.
Yeah.
That'd be ace, so to speak.
No pun intended.
And I think we will do there for 92. Oh,
Okay.
92, 91. Getting ahead of myself. 91's done. Thank you very much for sticking with us through episode 91. It's been great. We had some really, really good merch stuff to go through. So really looking forward to the third Doctor comic, which is out at the end of August. Going to pick up the Sonic, the new 12th Doctor Sonic. Looks amazing.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
And if you guys haven't ordered or picked up the 10th Doctor Adventures yet from Big Finish, make sure you do that. And talking of Big Finish, if you'd like us to review it, if you want us to do, so not next week because we're doing Victory of the Daleks, but the week after, if you want us to do that as like our Big Finish week, and we'll go through that whole stuff, just let us know. So send us a tweet, an email, hit us up on Facebook, whatever you like. If we get enough interest, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yes. And I'd like to do that because we haven't reviewed any Big Finish yet.
No, we haven't, no.
So
no.
It would be cool, but we'll take your guys' lead on that. If it's something you want us to do, we will happily do it. So check out the website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. There you can listen to this episode again, if you so please to, plus all of the other previous episodes that we've ever done. Somebody asked me on Twitter the other day, have you got the link to episode 1?
Yes, well, I know, because I had this problem. It's something with iTunes. I can't remember how you get around it because I thought sometimes it only goes back so far.
It does.
And it's something to do with settings, but they're all on there. But they're all on the website. That's the easiest way. Just go to the website and download them from there.
Yeah, if you can't find it in iTunes or Stitcher or any other app like that, just head over to the website. They're all on there for episode 1. Speaking of iTunes, if you listen to us on iTunes, if you could give us a rating and a review, that would be amazing. We'd love you lots for that.
Yeah, we would.
That'd be awesome. Remember to check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag.
Geek's Handbag, yeah.
The Geek's
Did you enjoy
Handbag.
that? Enjoy that review I did of the silver screen set?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said in the comment on that video, I love it and hate it at the same time. I love it because it's another great quality video that you've done and the review's really good. But I hate it because I cancelled my pre-order for it.
Oh, no.
So I don't have it and I really want it and it's making me sad.
It's a nice set, isn't it? Yeah.
So if I'm ever in the company of you hosting a tea party at your house, I will be bringing along a small TARDIS-sized bag.
Yeah, I'll be watching you like a hawk.
Yeah. Rightio. We will see you next week for episode 92. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember...
Alonso.